If you think March Madness is just about buzzer beaters, Cinderella stories, and teenagers chasing a dream under bright arena lights, then what you're about to hear will completely change the way you see one of America's most beloved sporting traditions. Because behind the chaos of brackets and the emotional surge of underdogs upsetting giants lies one of the most sophisticated revenue engines in modern sports history. A machine so powerful that it funds entire athletic departments, shapes conference realignment, dictates television contracts, and quietly moves billions of dollars through universities, broadcasters, advertisers, and corporate sponsors. And that machine is the business empire built around the NCAA Division I men's basketball tournament, better known as March Madness, a tournament controlled by the National Collegiate Athletic Association that has transformed 3 weeks of college basketball into a financial supernova, whose economic gravity touches nearly every corner of American collegiate sports. Because while fans obsess over upsets and office pools, executives in boardrooms obsess over media rights valuations, ad inventory pricing, sponsorship integration, and distribution formulas that determine which conferences rise and which quietly fade into irrelevance. And at the center of it all sits a broadcast deal so massive it redefined college athletics. The multi-billion-dollar agreement between the NCAA and media giants like CBS Sports and Turner Sports, a contract worth tens of billions over its lifespan, guaranteeing that every dribble, every timeout, every emotional cutaway to a crying fan becomes monetized inventory, sold to advertisers willing to pay premium rates for access to one of the most concentrated audiences in American television. Because March Madness isn't just popular, it's predictable mass attention at scale. And in the media economy, attention is currency. During these weeks, ad rates skyrocket as brands compete to attach themselves to the emotional volatility of the tournament, knowing that viewers don't just casually tune in, they stay. They refresh brackets, they stream games on multiple screens, they argue online, they engage. And that engagement translates directly into advertising leverage, with 30-second spots priced at levels that rival professional championship events, proving that what looks like amateur competition is in fact professional-grade monetization. But the real genius of the machine isn't just the television revenue, it's how that money is distributed. Because the NCAA doesn't simply pocket the earnings, it allocates units to conferences based on tournament performance, creating a rolling 6-year payout system that rewards success and incentivizes investment, meaning every deep run by a school doesn't just bring prestige, it brings future cash flows. And those cash flows fund facilities, coaching salaries, recruiting budgets, and even non-revenue sports like swimming, wrestling, and track, turning a single 3-week event into the financial backbone of entire athletic ecosystems. This is why conference realignment became so aggressive in recent years, because aligning with a power conference increases the probability of tournament bids, which increases exposure, which increases unique payouts, which compounds over time, creating a widening financial gap between athletic haves and have-nots. And while fans debate whether mid-major schools deserve more respect, administrators analyze metrics like television market size, brand equity, and tournament consistency. Because in the March Madness economy, brand visibility equals leverage, and leverage equals negotiating power in the next media deal. Yet perhaps the most controversial layer of this billion-dollar machine is the long-standing model of amateurism that historically prevented players from sharing directly in the revenue windfall they helped generate, a structure that allowed universities and governing bodies to classify athletes as students first, while monetizing their performance at professional scale, a tension that eventually collided with legal challenges and cultural shifts that opened the door to NIL rights, forever altering the balance of power between institutions and players. Because once athletes could monetize their own name, image, and likeness, the machine had to evolve. Boosters formed collectives, brands negotiated endorsement deals, and star players began entering the tournament not just as competitors, but as emerging entrepreneurs, turning breakout performances into instant social media growth and endorsement potential, proving that in the digital age virality can be as valuable as victory. And still, the financial machine hums, because corporate sponsors know that association with March Madness offers something rare. Emotional storytelling at national scale, the kind that produces unforgettable moments like 15 seeds toppling giants, or unknown players becoming household names overnight. Moments that embed themselves into cultural memory and extend brand exposure far beyond the broadcast window. Even the bracket itself became an economic instrument, with millions participating in pools that drive engagement, workplace conversations and second-screen interactions, effectively transforming casual viewers into emotionally invested stakeholders, who are statistically more likely to watch additional games, thereby increasing rating stability across early rounds that might otherwise struggle for viewership. And while critics argue about whether universities prioritize athletics over academics, the numbers reveal a reality that administrators understand clearly. Without March Madness revenue, many athletic departments would operate at unsustainable deficits, and the trickle-down effect would impact scholarships, staffing, and Olympic sports programs across the country, meaning that this single tournament underwrites opportunities for thousands of athletes who will never appear on national television. But like any billion-dollar enterprise, the system carries risk. Dependency on one major revenue stream creates vulnerability, especially in a fragmented media landscape where cord-cutting and streaming wars threaten traditional broadcast dominance, which is why future negotiations will likely integrate more digital-first strategies, global streaming packages, and data-driven advertising models to preserve valuation in an evolving consumption environment. Yet despite technological shifts, the core asset remains unchanged: scarcity and elimination drama. Because unlike regular seasons stretched over months, March Madness compresses consequence into single elimination chaos, ensuring that every possession carries existential weight, and that intensity sustains attention in ways few other sporting formats can replicate. And so the machine continues, expanding through merchandising, ticket sales, hospitality packages, licensing agreements, and cross-platform content syndication, each layer feeding into a broader ecosystem that extends from campus arenas to corporate headquarters, from alumni donors to sneaker companies, from streaming apps to social feeds, creating a self-reinforcing loop where success breeds exposure, exposure breeds revenue, revenue breeds competitive investment, and competitive investment fuels the next cycle of dramatic storylines. Because in the end, March Madness is not just a tournament, it is a financial architecture disguised as a sports spectacle. A system where emotion powers economics and brackets mask balance sheets, where underdog dreams coexist with boardroom strategies, and where every buzzer beater echoes not only in highlight reels but in accounting reports that determine the future of college athletics, proving that the real madness may not be on the court at all, but in the astonishing precision of a billion-dollar machine that turns fleeting moments of glory into enduring streams of capital year after year, generation after generation.